How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through... Look at this professional. Monday through Friday. Pacific, whatever. Hey, we got a lot to get into here today. The Royal Rumble was this past weekend. And a very exciting show here today because we will be joined by Filthy Tom Lawlor, as well as Mike Sempervive. Because every year, Filthy Tom helps us review the Royal Rumbles. And since we haven't reviewed the Royal Rumble on Observer Live, don't talk about my hair. Let's just move on here. We got a lot to get into today. We got a lot to get into. It's the Royal Rumble, and Tom's going to be reviewing both matches. And we've got all of the news, because a lot went down this past weekend, and we will not have time to get into all of it today. But we are going to do our best. So we basically have two winners of the Royal Rumble. We have an idea for some of the matches at WrestleMania, but I believe that between now and WrestleMania, this is going to be one of those years where we got some twists and turns. So I would not expect this to be just straightforward to WrestleMania. We're going to have some changes coming up. What they will be, I guess we'll find out. But I do think we know at least some of the top matches for WrestleMania. So we'll get into all of that after the break. As noted, Mike Sempervive, Filthy Tom Lawlor, join us. If you want to text us, 425-780-7566. That is 425-780-7566. F4W Online at gmail.com. F4W Online, Threads, Instagram, and Cameo. You want a Cameo? We can do it. And at Bryan Alvarez on X and Blue Sky. Back in a moment with more Observer Live. Hey, I got a great idea. We got Tom and Filthy here. So let's just let's get it all out first. Who wants to bury me first? Go for it.
Tom and Filthy.
Yeah, Tom. Oh yeah, you're here too. Yeah. I got a lot going on. Got a lot going on.
You know,
okay, I'm waiting. Let's say it. Let's hear it. Do it. Say it.
Thing is, did you lose a bet? That's number one.
I knew it was coming.
But you know what? That's what a lot of people want to say. I think you got an acting gig. I think you're trying out as some sort of
acting gig.
1920s barbershop quartet.
Let's see what we've got so far here. We got lost a bet, and then Sempervivi stole that one from the chat. Lost a bet. Then we had is Brian wearing makeup? That was a good one. And what else do we got? Anything? What do you got, Filthy? You got to have something.
You found a razor. That's funny.
And I actually got to hear from you, of all people, about my hair. Let's hear it. Get a picture of Tom again. Yeah. At least you shaved that thing off your face. Thank God. The Harley race gimmick you had going on there for a while. Your mutton chops stuck out farther than your headphones. But go ahead, let's hear it. Oh, you got nothing, brother.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, seriously, you look like a 1920s barbershop quartet guy. You're gonna have those little hats you take off, like you're working at an ice cream shop with your little vest on.
Hey, maybe I will. You know what? Some of us decide sometimes. Hey, I'm gonna do a little bit of a change. Might grow my hair out. I haven't decided yet. But you know what? Your hair gets to a certain length where it's just going to do whatever it's going to do, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. That's where I'm at right now.
No, that's not an awkward middle stage. You could change that right now.
No, this is a very awkward middle stage.
No,
yeah, what am I going to do with it? Spike it straight up?
I don't know. Maybe not cut it with
braid
a Braid it?
I didn't cut it. I didn't do anything to it. It's growing out. What do you want me to do?
Brian.
Cut it?
Grow the beard back. Maybe it distracts.
Actually, I should. That's the
was so bad.
Honestly, the hair wouldn't be so bad if I didn't shave. That's the biggest problem.
Jesus H.
You look like you're on the John Cena retirement tour.
Oh, you got a bald spot too? Show it. I
got it all in the back.
It's starting.
I got it all. His hair is actually really weird because from the front, he's like got all of his hair, and then he turns around and it's gone. I can't figure it out.
I'm more alarmed by that
it's the
bracelet.
Cena fade.
What is that bracelet you're wearing? Is that a puka shell?
A promise keeper?
A puka shell?
Puka Nakua?
All right. Can we talk about the Royal Rumble? We got 2 Rumbles.
We got some wood. Is that
we got 2 Rumbles to cover here. Do we got time or what?
Actually, what is that?
Should I go over the news first? What are you talking about? I got it in Hawaii. Why is this so difficult? Nobody listening on the radio cares right now. Now.
Yes.
We had the Royal Rumble.
It's what they say when you're yelling at the chat.
And would you shut up? We have 2 Royal Rumble winners. One of them is Charlotte, and one of them is Jey Uso. Who picked these 2? Anybody? Aside from Sean, believe it or not, at our pay-per-view party? No one?
No.
Oh, wow.
No. Definitely not I.
Who did you think was going to win the Women's Rumble, Tom?
I thought Bianca Belair.
You didn't have a pick, did you?
That was Bianca Belair.
You thought Bianca was going to win the Women's Rumble?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I think her versus Rhea Ripley is a match that could headline as a women's title match.
Okay. All right. What about you, Semp? Who did you think is going to win the Women's Rumble?
I was kind of thinking the same thing, but then as I started thinking about the fact that Charlotte Flair was going to be in it, and then she ended up in it, I quickly changed it to that because as much as I believe you can main event one of the nights at WrestleMania with Bianca and Rhea if you build it up right, I think the obvious thing this year is if you wanted to have a women's match, main event of WrestleMania, Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair in a rematch well built up is probably the way you want to go.
Well, I thought Becky was going to win, and she wasn't even in the match. That's a pretty impressive failure right there.
Mike, are you sure Charlotte's going to challenge Rhea? Because I could see Charlotte defeating Tiffany, and kind of showing her who's still at the top of the food chain.
Well, that's the thing is you could tell a story with either one of those women, either one of those stories, and have it go. I just think... Rhea, especially if you can obviously Charlotte's going to win a zillion titles by the time that she's done and break her father's mythical record and all that sort of stuff. But Rhea Ripley getting her revenge, getting a gigantic win, at WrestleMania would be a big deal, and her getting her revenge on Charlotte and saying she wasn't ready before and getting the victory, that could be big. Or you have Charlotte defeat Rhea in what is probably going to be a really great match, and then that's just another notch on Charlotte's belt to get 746 title reigns.
So who picked Jey Uso?
Not me.
Anybody?
Not me.
No.
As a matter of fact, I could tell you I was watching this show with a friend. It came down to the final two people. I looked at him and I said, They ruined this. They eliminated Punk. They eliminated Roman Reigns. They got rid of my boy Drew McIntyre. There's no way that Jey Uso is going to beat John Cena in the 2025 Royal Rumble. And then he did. And I was more speechless than I was when I saw this horrific haircut that Bryan has.
He's got some pink-ass lips, doesn't he? He's got some really pink lips.
What is going on here, dude? We're doing a radio show talking about the Royal Rumble. Golly. And yes, I have lovely lips. Thank you.
They are purty, aren't they?
You know,
Mike?
I saw it come down to Jey Uso and Logan Paul, who tossed CM Punk in actually the biggest shock of the entire Royal Rumble, and John Cena.
You know what? CM Punk made his own bed, because what did he tell Kevin Owens the night before on SmackDown? He said, I've never been beaten by Logan Paul.
He actually,
yes.
You know, it's funny. I watched the second, actually it'd be the third hour, I guess. I watched a third hour of SmackDown after watching the Royal Rumble, and I was like, wow, they did a lot of teases on that show now, didn't they? But yes, it came down to those three, and I thought, well, ain't going to be this Logan Paul. He ain't winning. And then he was eliminated. And then when it was John Cena and Jey Uso, I will say my first thought was much like yours, like, they're just going to do the obvious, John Cena. Why? But then my brain did say, you know what? That Jey Uso, he just lost to Gunther, and he did that big, long speech about how I lost, but I learned I could beat this guy. And I thought, my God, are they going to actually put Jey Uso over in this Royal Rumble? And golly, they did. He won. So I do think Jey Uso and Gunther is the first main event. John Cena and Cody, I think, is likely. But I would also argue that that maybe that shouldn't be the match. And old John Cena can win Money in the Bank. Call his shot like he did years ago and not fail this time at SummerSlam. That's actually my early prediction for what they're going to do. So there you go.
Yeah,
well,
I'm all for that one as well when it comes to waiting on John Cena and having something gigantic for SummerSlam.
Now, we do have Elimination Chamber qualifiers beginning on Raw tonight. But apparently John Cena's just in the match. So he doesn't have to qualify.
He's got the veterans exemption.
Because he's John Cena. Well, you know, he was a runner-up in the Rumble. I'm fine with that. But that's coming up tonight. And also an appearance by Jey Uso and Charlotte. So that's all we know for Raw. This Netflix Raw. So what we're going to do, Tom, when we come back from the break, you've got 12 minutes to review the Women's Royal Rumble. Then we'll go to the next break. And then we'll come back and you have 14 minutes to review the Men's Rumble. And before you guys get angry and go, well, why does the Men's Rumble get more time? Well, as it turns out, the Men's Royal Rumble, are you ready for this? The Men's Royal Rumble was the longest match in the history of WWE, WWF, WWF. Since this promotion was formed, there has never been a longer match than this year's Men's Royal Rumble. So back in a moment with more Observer Live. If you love our shows, and you only want the shows, you can sign up today through Apple Podcasts. Apple Podcasts carries every podcast that we produce, over 84 podcasts every single month, and you can get every one of them at a touch of a button through Apple Podcasts. The easiest way to check it out is to go to f4wonline.com/Apple. In fact, we have a free trial. Free! You pay nothing. Check it out, and if you enjoy it, the service is just $9.99 per month. And if you think about $9.99 divided by 84 podcasts, it's just pennies per day to sign up through Apple Podcasts. So check it out, f4wonline.com/Apple. That is f4wonline.com/Apple. Try your free trial today. It is amazing to just be the center of attention all the time. God. All right. Well, shall we begin with the Women's Rumble, Tom? Let's do this.
Yeah, let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
I suppose. I mean, let's be honest. If we want to get right down to the bottom of it, this Royal Rumble was dominated
Oh, God, here
by
we go.
one person.
Nia Jax was so great in the Rumble. Golly.
I wasn't going to get there.
He's only got 12 minutes, Brian.
I wasn't going to get there yet, but now that you mentioned it, Nia Jax, a dominant force in the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble, a force to be reckoned with on many levels, eliminating Io Sky, who was our first entrant, Liv Morgan, who I believe was the second entrant.
Yes.
Bianca Belair, my pick to win. Naomi. Zelina Vega. Formidable.
You know, people like this show, and then you have to come in here and just, like, destroy your own credibility. God.
Trish Stratus, the multiple-time women's champion, showed up. She looked great. Raquel Rodriguez and Nikki Bella, the returning Nikki Bella, also eliminated by Nia Jax.
All right.
Trish should have won.
Trish was not eliminated by Nia, by the way.
Oh, she wasn't?
No.
But good job.
In my mind, she was.
Okay.
The number 3 entrant, Roxanne Perez, came in, lasted it down to the wire, actually set the all-time record, 1 hour, 7 minutes, 47 seconds.
Wow.
In the Women's Rumble. The tag team champions, Bianca Belair, Naomi, they were in there doing double teams for much of it. We had Jordynne Grace make her first appearance as a member of the WWE roster. She looked phenomenal in there. As I mentioned, we had a couple surprises. Trish Stratus, Nia Jax, and the return, a big surprise of Alexa Bliss.
Yes.
Coming back after many people thought that she would not.
You've jumped forward quite a bit here, but go ahead.
Did you slip in
your
big
review.
Surprise of Nia Jax? This is so Nia Jax-centric.
No, but I mean, I have 12 minutes. Like I said, the climax of this match
was when you saw Nia Jax.
Thanks, Mike. Match came down to the returning Charlotte Flair, as we mentioned before, Roxanne Perez, and at the end, Charlotte Flair booted Roxanne Perez to the floor, got the win in her big return. I'm not quite sure if Charlotte Flair is a heel. I'm not quite sure if Charlotte Flair is a babyface, but she is the winner of the Women's 2025 Royal Rumble.
I gave you 12 minutes and you took 2. I literally brought you on here because you love to break down the Royal Rumble every year, and that was the worst Royal Rumble review I've ever heard in my entire life. You literally sat here and you said that Nia Jax was great, even though everybody everybody that watched this, like we had a running thing on the board with people recapping or like they're like live, whatever, and like everyone was like, why does everyone say Nia's improved? She's absolutely horrible. Like one person after another. And I'm explaining, listen, Nia can have good matches. If she's in there with Naomi, if she's in there with Rhea, the matches are good. The rest of it. And then Tom comes on. Oh, she was the MVP of the Women's Rumble. Nia Jax. We had Julia in there and Cal. But no, we got to
Yeah, what did Julia do? Julia teamed up with Stephanie Vaquer. She teamed up with Jada Parker, much to the delight of Mike over there. She teamed up with some other NXT girls.
I didn't even mention that Jada Parker came out and she was like over for some reason, even though nobody knew who she was, but I guess they did.
I gave a synopsis of the match, and now I was going to provide you with the rundown of all of the women. Perhaps they're the order of elimination as well for the statistical
let's do
aficionados out there. But we had the entrance in order: Io Sky, Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez, Lyra Valkyria, Chelsea Green, B-Fab, Ivy Nile, Zoe Stark, Lash Legend.
Yes, she's basically main roster.
Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler, Bayley, Sonya Deville, Maxine Dupree, Naomi, Jada Parker, Piper Niven, Natalya, Jordynne Grace, as we mentioned, Mishin, fresh off another failure to win the Women's U.S. title on SmackDown, Alexa Bliss, Zelina Vega, the newest member of SmackDown, Candice LeRae, Stephanie Vaquer, Trish Stratus, Raquel Rodriguez, Charlotte Flair, Julia, Nia Jax, and Nikki Bella. As I mentioned, they had NXT versus WWE main roster showdown. There was a long period in the middle of the match, which was reminiscent of the old days of the corporation, with Corporate Kane and Big Show wrecking shop as the Pure Fusion Collective kind of ran the match for a little bit. There was Zoe Stark went for that Bryan's favorite move, his favorite finisher, the springboard drop kick. She tried to set up Lyra Valkyria for it, but remember she slipped and then came off with a lariat, and they talked about how great of an athlete she was. And then, as I mentioned, once Nia Jax got in there, the ring was kind of filled up. She ran through everybody and came down to the final woman.
I got to say that it's obvious that, Charlotte's got to win this title a few more times because she's got to beat her dad's record. But, God, this was very much like the men's Rumble where it came down to Charlotte and Roxanne, and it was like, well, they're going to do the obvious thing here. But unlike with the men, they didn't have Roxanne win. And honestly, Roxanne, like if she would have started where she did, went over an hour, won the Royal Rumble, eliminating Charlotte, and that's getting her up to the main roster and into a women's main event at WrestleMania, that'd have been freaking awesome. But no, Charlotte had to win. At least Roxanne went to the end.
I don't know. I still think that would be the right decision, as opposed to you take Roxanne, you throw her in there with Rhea, or you throw her in there. Now with Tiffany, you do have that backstory.
Yeah, Roxanne and Tiffany.
But with that said, I don't think there's
WrestleMania.
A reason. Yeah, and there's a lot of people who I think could fit, who have been on the main roster, who could fit in there with either one of those, especially against Tiffany's. But Roxanne and Tiffany on the main roster is going to come at a WrestleMania, I'm sure, in the future.
So you guys would rather see Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair than Tiffany versus Roxanne?
No, I'm saying I'd like to see Charlotte Flair against Rhea Ripley. And Tiffany Stratton, I mean, you can make a story out of a lot of people. And, yeah, I'd like to see Roxanne on the main roster, but if she closes the show at that weekend's NXT and then is up on the next Raw or the next SmackDown, that's not going to hurt my feelings at all.
I mean, I don't know who Tiffany is set up to face if it's not Charlotte, other than Nia Jax.
Jade comes back?
Yeah, but she's going to be tied up with Naomi. It's clear to me that Naomi is the one that attacked Jade. And I don't know that they have anybody else set up for Tiffany to face at WrestleMania except for Nia, like I mentioned, who, you know, she hasn't gotten that big decisive win over. She beat her for the belt, but it was a screw job cash in. And, you know, it's just like, as much as I love Nia, they go to the well with her too much. You know, she just lost to Rhea. She just was the champion. I'm not. How am I backtracking?
They go to the well with her too many times.
Hey, when it's wet, you know what I mean? Keep digging in there.
Nia's well? Would that be like her hole?
Now,
good God.
I'm going to put you on the spot here, Filthy.
Not just any spot, not a liver spot.
As a historian of the Royal Rumble, okay? So I thought this match was just there. And I tweeted that it was just there. And I got a bunch of, you know, those types. Ah! They're all yelling and screaming. And they're like, oh, yeah, this was the best women's Rumble ever. And I was like, listen, I know you want to defend the company. I know you want to defend the women. But you are burying previous women's Rumbles that were much better than this one. So, Tom, where would you rank this in terms of the best and worst women's Rumbles? Can you remember that far back?
I mean, the most memorable one to me is Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
Winning the Rumble. So, I thought that this match was pretty good, though. You know, I thought that the structure of this Rumble was set up well. I thought that Nia coming in, like I mentioned, and kind of wrecking shop was a good moment. Really, really infuriated the crowd with how she eliminated multiple legends and favorites.
I think they were infuriated because it was so dumb. They did a spot where like 6 women ended up on the apron, and they're all like hitting each other on the apron, and then she just ran up and bounced them all to the ground. It's like, that's your elimination of 6 people?
Big Vinny V won a shoot battle royal.
Yeah, he did.
You're going to sit here and pick apart
Tom, how do you feel about
running
the fact,
people off the ropes? What?
How do you feel about the fact that Maxine was the most over woman in the entire thing?
She was not the most over woman. Chelsea was.
Second most over woman in the entire thing.
Chelsea
Maxine
was very
Dupree.
over because Chelsea was the first one to get an elimination. Early on in the match, they kind of stacked up the ring, and I don't know how many women it was. Maybe like 10 women in before anybody got eliminated, and Chelsea was the first one. Let me also say
Alexa got the biggest pop for her return. This person is trying to correct us here, but as far as like from start to finish, it was Chelsea. She had her name chanted every 2 minutes over something, and they were furious when they got rid of her. Stand by, Men's Rumble after the break. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Well, we reviewed SmackDown yesterday, Tom, and you don't even get SmackDown. You're very, just, you know how you are.
Fine. Whatever. I don't care.
Whatever.
That's your impression of me?
Yeah, that's my impression of you.
Wow.
So what are we? At least I hope you at least watch the SmackDown main event.
I watched the entire show.
Okay, because there's a lot of people that still like your review, Tom.
I went on the board and I saw like 2 people.
Yeah, do you go on Twitter?
Yeah, I do go on Twitter.
You read my emails?
I do go on
the
Twitter.
Text messages? I mean,
do you go on Twitter? Because if you do,
yes.
You would have seen one of the greatest moments in world history.
History, really.
World history. Frank Tate walked away the victor of the fight, but he walked away an even bigger winner when it comes to life. This man completed what I would say is the best high five, the best dap up in the history of the galaxy. This man had his dog. And when I say dog,
barely a dog.
I mean D-O-G and D-A-W-G. This was a dog, baby. The dog was so proud. You can see just the elation in that dog's face. He threw that paw up. He let it hang for a few moments, and then he brought it down for the dap.
Tom's not even doing this justice. Everyone has seen a dog,
Listen.
like you put your hand out and the dog like puts his paw up to shake hands. This freaking dog goes, ah, hoppa! Like, what? That was more than a high five. I don't even know what you would even term that. He dunked. He dunked that man.
30 million views on this clip. And that is about 1/10 of what it should have. So if you haven't seen it, you deserve it. Treat yourself. Go to my Twitter. Watch Frank Tate high five his dog.
No, he did not high five his dog.
The dog high fived him.
His dog high fived him. Yes. He just wanted like a, just boom. And this dog was like, no way, brother. You knock that man out. I'm going to give you a big time dunking high five from way up high. You go high five, up high, down low, too slow. This was an up high. Guy should have pulled his hand away.
It's the best thing you've ever seen.
Man, too slow, Joe. Yeah, it was pretty good. Not going to lie. I liked it. Well, you know what we do here? We just barrel on through. Floor is yours, Tom. Barrel away.
All right, the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble, an electrifying spectacle filled with jaw-dropping action, shocking alliances, a career-defining victory held in front of this raucous, how many people was it? 70,000 plus?
I'm at 67.
At the Lucas Oil Stadium. What are they saying? 67?
Well, Hunter claimed 70 as they put a graphic for like 65 underneath him. But I think the actual number was 67.
Split the difference.
Yeah. Actually, it is. It is.
Well, the number 1 and number 2 entrants in this Royal Rumble, 2 of the preeminent masked men, 2 of the best high flyers of all time, if you listen to the WWE broadcast team, Rey Mysterio, who certainly fits that bill, and Penta, who is a fine luchador himself. Penta was eliminated almost immediately.
Yeah, he was.
From this match.
Yep.
In a spot gone wrong. They said, no. Only one of his feet hit the mat as Ray Hurricane Rotted him over the apron to the floor. But they never once went back and showed a replay.
No, they didn't.
Which leads me to believe that he was eliminated damn near immediately. number 3, Chad Gable. The ring started to fill up. Carmelo Hayes, Santos Escobar, all guys that were good workers, can work together. And then we had...
No, they couldn't in the first
Well,
four.
no, they couldn't work together. Conceivably, they could work together. Chad Gable worked well with everybody. Carmelo Hayes looked great. Otis came in. I don't know what this guy's wearing. He's got like a collar on his singlet, which is the first time I've ever seen this in my life. And then there was no eliminations yet. Next in was Braun Breaker. And Braun Breaker, as you can imagine, he went absolutely nuts. Starts spearing people left and right.
He went Haas.
Yeah. Then, the next entrant, back up for Otis, or so we thought, as Akira Tozawa comes out. Carmelo Hayes, who has been eliminated by Braun Breaker, is leaving, but much like he did to Jimmy Uso weeks ago on SmackDown, he attacks Akira Tozawa from behind. You know, sometimes it takes the officials like minutes to come out and break something up, but here, they were out there in seconds to make sure that Akira Tozawa was rushed to the back. They didn't even take care of this guy as he's got a clear concussion. Triple H is backstage as they bring him back there at gorilla position. And he's going, what? He can't go? Adam Pearce is like, no, he's out. And Triple H goes, well, we need somebody. Somebody's got to get in there. We need to replace him, which there's been plenty of times. I remember, where was the Ultimate Warrior? He never made it in one year.
I don't think it was the Ultimate Warrior. It was somebody else.
Who was it? Savage. I thought Savage bashed him with the scepter.
It might have been Crush or something.
Somebody. Yeah, maybe that's who it was.
No, he hit him with the scepter when he won the title from him.
That's right.
Wasn't there one year they announced like somebody to come out and then they never came out?
Yes, it was someone. It was like number 17. They were supposed to come out. You saw the curtain move, but nobody came out. And then they were like, well, I guess they're not coming out. And they just moved on.
Well, this year they're like, we need somebody, anybody. And Triple H goes, hey, you, I Show Speed, who's back there talking to Stephanie McMahon. You, get out there. This guy didn't even sign a waiver, no contract, nothing. He goes, I'm not even ready. They're like, well, your music's playing, so legally, it's a legally binding contract. You got to go out there. He goes out there. Him and Braun Breaker dump Otis. This guy does a backflip. Braun Breaker hits the ropes, and I want to drop every expletive on air right now because none of them combined would describe how hard Braun Breaker speared I Show Speed and then tossed this poor schmuck over the top and eliminated him.
No, he didn't. He threw him over the top, and the guy was caught by Otis.
Oh, my gosh, that's right.
And Otis could have thrown him back into the ring, but since he had eliminated Otis just tosses this dude. He flies in the air, spins, lands on the table, and was killed.
Yeah, Tozawa was the one with the concussion?
It was Bastion Booger that missed his. So technically, he's still in the Rumble.
He's dead.
Well, he's never going to be eliminated from the Rumble then.
I believe he's dead. If not, I apologize.
He passed away years and years.
R.I.P. Mike
years
Shaw.
and years ago.
Sheamus, Jimmy Uso, Andrade, Jacob Fatu.
Well, that was a mistake.
What? Putting Fatu in there?
Yeah, putting him in the Rumble at all. Look, if 9, 10, 11 men can't stop him from beating somebody up, why have anybody throw him out at all, let alone one person?
I had no problem with him being in killing dudes. I did have a problem with the guy who finally eliminated him being Braun Strowman.
Just easily chucking
God.
him.
Fatu did eliminate Gable, Rey Mysterio, Andrade, Jimmy Uso, and then, yeah, as you mentioned, later on, Braun Strowman came out and tossed him. Ludwig Kaiser, I don't know what this guy was doing. He tried to scheme something. He tried to sneak up on Penta.
It wasn't even scheming. He started out smart.
Waiting.
It's like, I'm not going to get in the ring with these idiots. And then he saw someone's back turned, and he tried to sneak in, but then he got tossed.
Yeah, he was trying to wait for Penta to hit on Tiffany Stratton so he could attack him. But
Why
Penta
do they keep trying to hype up the fact that somebody's going to have a short entrance? Like, I thought that's been done with like a 1-second entrance, and who cares? Because nobody is going to be better in a short performance in the Royal Rumble than Bushwhacker Butch or Luke, I think it was, that marched in and then he just marched and Hogan marched him right over the top rope and threw him out. That was perfect.
Yeah, it's Santino that holds the record that they keep trying to beat. And it's like, when you see what Kaiser did, there was no way that was going to beat Santino's record. He ran across the ring. They did like a do-si-do. Anyways, The Miz, Joe Hendry came out. Joe Hendry, huge ovation from the crowd. They cleared the way. They let him do his catchphrase. He hit the standing ovation. And then we got a real standing ovation from the crowd as the next man in, the OTC, Roman Reigns. He starts taking guys out, running through them. The Miz, Sheamus, Joe Hendry.
They had this guy in for a long time this year.
Yeah.
Usually he's out like 28, 29.
I think for what they did, they kind of had to. And then they had the showdown. 2 blue chippers. 2 bad A's here on WOL. Braun Breaker and Roman Reigns had a showdown, and Roman Reigns came out the winner. This is a Mania main event for the future, if I've ever seen one. Then Drew McIntyre came in, Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura. Then this is where Jey Uso, AJ Styles came out. The big return of AJ Styles, looking jacked as ever.
No. Yeah, that's actually wrong. That's actually wrong.
He's not as jacked as he was a few months ago, you don't think?
No,
not like
Don't you remember when that guy came back?
He was
Dude,
huge.
He was enormous when he came back, which, by the way, he was immediately injured, and so he has come back at a more normal AJ Styles size.
At least they gave him the music back, too. That helps.
Yes.
Which
Jey
Finn's
Uso,
music, by the way, doesn't help.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell who it was. Jey Uso, ungodly levels of over. As we mentioned, we had Jacob Fatu's in there. The next man out, Braun, who actually, I guess this is his comeuppance. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to go back to this. I guess there was no clear winner in their match at Saturday night's main event. As a matter of fact, I believe Braun Strowman won that match. And then here today eliminated Jacob Fatu.
Lame.
Didn't Braun Strowman...
The second most shocking elimination in this entire thing.
Didn't he tip over an ambulance or die, or fall, have an ambulance fall on him or something like that? Maybe they're going back to that version of Braun here against Jacob Fatu.
I was shocked, honestly. We then had the big return of Bryan's favorite, John Cena. Bryan salivating over his muscles as he runs down to the ring, gets in there.
Looks like
the John Cena of old. Took inspiration from his haircut, went and got the same one.
The last time is now.
No, it's not, actually. He's got an entire year of last times.
I think he means the last haircut, because after that, it's not coming back.
Wow.
So John Cena eliminates Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Dominic Mysterio, Sami Zayn. I'm just going to say who's left. Sami Zayn, Damian Priest, LA Knight, and Logan Paul round out the field. We have Sami Zayn. Actually, Dominic Mysterio gets eliminated by Damian Priest, his old buddy, but also nemesis. Sami Zayn is inadvertently... Oh, I guess not inadvertently. He was eliminated by Jey Uso, and then Jey Uso kind of gave him like a wave, like, "Hey, see you later. Sorry." We had Drew McIntyre in a much talked about spot here, eliminated by Damian Priest as LA Knight and Logan Paul were seemingly running a spot in the middle of the ring. Damian Priest was eliminated by LA Knight. LA Knight eliminated by AJ Styles. AJ Styles eliminated by Logan Paul. And then things got crazy. Then it broke down. Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, they're all fighting each other. I believe Seth Rollins landed a super kick that it sent Roman Reigns to the apron. Him and CM Punk are tied up. And then I got this all mixed up. But all three of them get eliminated. They start fighting on the floor. Seth Rollins does a running stop, annihilates Roman Reigns.
Brutal.
Put him
with
in the
both
upper room.
feet to the head. There's chaos everywhere.
It wasn't even both feet to the head. It was one of the head and one of the neck. God.
He delivers another one onto the steps. This is brutal. And then it comes down, as you mentioned, John Cena eliminates Logan Paul. It comes down to John Cena and Jey Uso. And the shocker of all shocks, no matter how insanely over this guy is, main event Jey Uso. If you would have told me 2 years ago, I would have said you're crazy. If you would have told me last year, I still would have said you're insane. But here we are, 2025, set up to not only be main event Jey Uso, but to be the WrestleMania main event Jey Uso. The Yeet Man himself eliminates John Cena and wins the 2025 Royal Rumble. I think it's a bigger upset than Rey Mysterio winning. I think it's the biggest upset in Royal Rumble history.
I wouldn't say that.
Brian, have you gotten any insider information on who is more happy right now? Like, is it Rikishi or was it Michael Cole?
Well, it was definitely Rikishi because Jay didn't tell Rikishi. He was at a watch party and he didn't know his kid was going to win, and boy, was that guy happy. Back in a moment, Observer Live. If you love this show, you should consider signing up at WrestlingObserver.com. WrestlingObserver.com has every show that we have ever done, over 15,000 podcasts in the archives, dating back to 2005. Searchable by show, searchable by year. Perhaps the first show you ever watched was 2008 WrestleMania? Well, you can head into the archives and you can find the podcast we did, all built around the 2008 WrestleMania. Every major show, whether it be WWE, AEW, we covered it all. 15,000 archived shows at WrestlingObserver.com. Also, when you subscribe, you get full access to the Wrestling Observer newsletter. There's a new Observer every Friday. And on top of that, we have thousands and thousands of archived issues of the Observer dating back to 1991. So again, WrestleMania 2008. Go to the archives, search WrestleMania 2008, read all of the issues surrounding that show. Of course, Wrestling Observer newsletter, 40,000 words of news and information on pro wrestling and mixed martial arts every single week. New issue comes out every Friday. New back issue comes out every Monday. You also get the discussion board. One of the best discussion boards on the internet. It's members only. If you're going to troll, well, you got to pay to troll, and there aren't too many of those. And if you cause too much trouble, you're out of there. So if you want a great place to discuss professional wrestling, it is the board. Also available as a subscriber at WrestlingObserver.com. The whole package, all of the new shows, all of the archived shows, all of the new issues of the Observer, all of the archived editions of the newsletter, all of the past episodes of Wrestling Observer Radio, Wrestling Observer Live, The Bryan and Vinny Show, Figure Four Daily, Filthy Four Daily, The Board, all of it, just $14.99 per month. The full shebang, and you can save a lot of money getting an annual subscription. A full year, you basically get 2 months free. So check it out, WrestlingObserver.com, everything you'll ever need as a fan of professional wrestling. Check it out today, F4WOnline.com.
You all right?
Back on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. God,
Look at him. He's so happy this thing is over. Look at him.
I can't even look at myself. What's going on here?
We can barely look at you either.
Should I keep going or should I just cut it all off? What should I do?
Mohawk.
I got to make a decision.
Oh, yeah, just make a Actually, just keep whatever that is right there. Turn it into some baby hairs.
If I just keep it going, you know what I'm saying? I just got to... I either got to keep going or I got to quit.
I think the old Tyson Kid. Where it's just the front.
I had that when I was in high school. I had the reverse mullet. Yeah, I went to prom with it.
Did you ever just spike it up so you had like the four hairs going like
I didn't. I didn't do it like.
Hold on. You went to prom with a haircut as your date? What kind of
I had that haircut. You idiot! Come on.
He went with his hand.
Oh my gosh.
We got a grow everything out suggestion here. I went to prom twice. Thank you.
The choker on right there. That's what it wore. Oh, you look so good.
Get the shortcut like in those old videos. Which ones? Those were terrible. When I was 195 pounds of blubber. I don't know.
You looked healthy.
Get a fade.
It's what you usually have.
Guys, I'm about to turn 50, so let's keep that in mind when we're talking haircuts here.
Well, look, you can get a fade at your age. You just can't cut any lines in it or anything like that.
Why?
Looking like Big Daddy Kane in '88.
I could still do that. Cornrows?
No.
Oh, no. We've done no. We danced that dance.
You need to grow the beard out, dye it blonde, like Big Papa Pump, and then also follow it up with a Big Daddy Viscera mohawk.
Skullet, like the Outrunners, a yellow skullet, not even blonde, yellow like that.
Well, that's the cliffhanger, everybody. You'll see what happens tonight when you turn into Observer Radio and Observer Live tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Tom. Yeah. We'll talk to you next time, Wrestling Observer Live.